Thank you, Mrs. McGuinness, for opening our conference. Thank you for your commitment when it comes to dealing with religious dialogue and religious freedom. Dear friends, last October, my advisors and I traveled to Ankawa and the Nineveh Plains. It was our third trip to Iraq during a short period of time. The reason for this particular trip was a resolution which was passed here in this house just days before we took off. The resolution which I had the privilege to initiate deals with the responsibility of the European Union after the defeat of ISIS in Iraq. The need for assistance when it comes to reconstruction, rebuilding, repatriation was emphasized. A strong political support for self-governance at the Nineveh Plain was articulated, self-governance within the framework of the Iraqi constitution. Furthermore, the resolution underscores the need for necessary security arrangements. This is described as imperative in order to make it possible for IDPs and for refugees to return home. When I presented the content of this resolution to representatives of the different political parties of Chaldean Syrian population, the response was really encouraging. After deliberations and discussions, all of the parties involved decided to support the resolution and to sign a joint letter to the EU High Representative, Mrs. Mogherini, a letter which calls on the EU Commission and the member states of the European Union to act upon the recommendations of the resolution. At the same time, these parties, namely you who are here, gave me an assignment. You asked me to organize an international conference which could serve as a platform for dialogue about the future for the people of Nineveh. And my friends, thanks to your courage, thanks to your determination, thanks to highly professional people like Charlie Weimers and as well as Johannes de Jong and Martin Ravi, my friends, here we are. Here we are with a challenging but a very important task ahead of us. Here we are with an opportunity to make a difference for your people, for the victims of persecution and genocide. During several visits in Iraq, I have visited the deserted towns and villages of the Nineveh Plains. I've seen the destroyed houses, the ruined holy sites. I met with ordinary people, displaced persons, political representatives, church leaders. Generally, I have met with brave men and women who have suffered so badly, and without a substantial sign of hope, many of them considering giving up. Giving up a place where your family have lived for generations, where your descendants have farmed the land for centuries. That is not an easy thing. That breaks your heart. Comprehension is important, but might be painful. Listening to the testimonies about the human suffering, seeing the consequences of persecution and genocide is overwhelming. It broke my heart. And it reminded me of what we as decision makers have to do. Without a comprehensive political solution for the Nineveh Plains, the future for Chaldeans, Syriacs, Assyrians is at stake. As a matter of fact, we are facing the last call for Christians in Iraq. Other groups with historical ties to the area are likewise endangered. Yazidis, Turkmens, Shabak, Kakai. The disappearance of these groups from the Middle East will mean the termination of indigenous peoples from this region. Middle East, without its mosaic of traditions and people, will be a region going into dark age with no hope for sustainable peace and stability. Without Christians, the Middle East can no longer rely on a community which for centuries have been a broker between different ethnic and religious groups. Distinguished friends, assisting the vulnerable people of the Middle East is the right thing to do. As representatives of the European Union, as citizens of Europe, we have a responsibility to give a helping hand to people in need. At the same time, such help is also in our own interest. Fighting ISIS, fighting radical Islam, confronting evil acts and genocide is a fundamental mission, not only for Middle East governments, but also for European Union, its member states, and the entire world. Therefore, my friends, this conference is so important. For the first time since ISIS launched the Iraqi offensive, different churches, political parties, and relevant stakeholders are able to come together internationally to discuss the future for Chaldeans, Syriacs, Assyrians. And let's be clear, your future should be defined and decided by you. We are, as hosts, as representatives of the EU, cannot and will not impact the agenda of the Christian parties in Iraq. What we can do is providing an environment which hopefully is beneficial for productive talks and necessary consultations. Some political representatives and parties have chosen not to participate in this conference. We regret that. At the same time, we respect their decision. And make no mistake, this conference represents the churches, the political parties, the civil society, which are present here in Brussels. Parties not participating in the conference speak for themselves. That goes without saying. To criticize and condemn might be part of politics. To find attack points and smear is actually not difficult at all. It's much more difficult to be part of a sometimes complicated dialogue, to compromise, and to take responsibility during tough conditions. That takes political will, and above all, it takes courage and political leadership. As party representatives, you are here, first and foremost, to stand up for your people. Hopefully, we can offer a conference of constructive discussions. Let me also stress that those parties who have chosen not to come are always welcome to join. The door is open for dialogue and talks. My friends, let's hope that the dark times of division soon will be over. Let's hope for brighter days, days of reconciliation and unity. You as Chaldeans, Syrians, as well as other nationalities of Iraq, have suffered enough. You deserve a future in peace, with security, democracy, and life in fullness in your ancient homelands, the Nineveh Plains.